Hey everyone, thanks so do it again. Do it again. Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in to the 13 Reasons Why After Show. Today we are covering episode 2 and 3, tape 1, side B, and tape 2, side A. We also have Alisha Mullally, Alisha Boe, and Tommy Dorfman in the studio to talk to us about it. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
What's up, everyone? Thanks so much for tuning in to the 13 Reasons Why After Show. Yes, it's happening now. We are here. You guys, we have a full studio tonight. I mean, like, it is. We're all talking. It's a lot happening in here. But before we get started, let's go ahead and get some introductions. I'm Hannah Prichard. You all can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at @TheHotShotDude.
I'm Becca Brown. Y'all can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Becca B Talks TV.
Hey guys, I'm Chae Jones. You can find me at Real Chae Jones on Twitter and Instagram.
Hey guys, I'm Chanel, and you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Chanel Hurlin.
And now introducing these wonderful cast members over here. Guys, Alisha, starting with you, babe.
Hey, I'm Alisha Mullally. I play Sadie.
Hi, I'm Tommy Dorfman. I play Ryan.
Hi, I'm Alisha Boe. I play Jessica Davis.
Oh, lovely. And yes, we know we have two Alishas here, and they spell it the exact same way.
Do you?
They do, which never happens. Not many people spell it that way.
I don't know. It's a rarity. It's a rarity.
It
She's
is.
the first I met that spelled
And now we have them both here at the exact same time. But they're wonderful. Just to avoid confusion, Miss Alisha Mullally is actually my roommate, so we tight, we cool like that.
Oh.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Alisha Boe is my roommate. So.
We're all roommates.
Yes! Get it!
Broadway. Full house.
I'm like, I want my leg to go that high real quick. Hold up. Perfect. Get it.
But we're probably gonna refer to her as like leash, or I say sis sometimes. So if I say that, don't think I'm like being inappropriate. I just like, I know her like that. So yeah. Anyways, we have so much to cover because we did 2 episodes, you guys, and we were introduced to, I mean, I think everybody in these 2 episodes, which is like an extremely long list. I made a list. It's a little bit overwhelming. I don't know how exactly we're going to do it. In an hour.
Right?
It's not going to happen because I more so want to ask you guys like a shit ton of questions, as do the fans, because they sent in a lot. Which we'll get to that more so at the end, so we can like talk about the show a little bit beforehand. But before we get started, I have to know, did you guys read the book before you were on the show?
Yeah, I read the book when I was 14.
Oh, wow.
All my friends like passed the book around. It was one of our favorite books. So when I got the call to audition, I was just like, and I started going in like for like the chemistry read and like the callback. I was just like, holy crap! Like, what if this happens? Because the book really touched me when I was like in middle school. So it was just, or I guess it was in middle school. Yeah. Was I? I don't know how to do
High
that.
school.
I must have been younger, actually. I've been saying 14, but I read it in like 7th grade. But it really touched me, and it really resonated with me through the years. So it was just, it felt like my life came full circle as an actress, where I could actually tell a story that I enjoyed when I was younger.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible, dude.
I know.
Everybody reads like their favorite book growing up thinking that they may be that character, or like envisioning themselves playing that, and you got to do that. That's so cool.
Good.
Yeah.
I bet you didn't expect playing Jessica, though. Probably not your favorite character when you read the book, or was it?
I don't, because like Jessica kind of has like a smaller role in the book. She's
Right.
kind of fleshed out, but I really did enjoy Clay's character more so. Reading it, because in the book it's more Clay talking to Hannah's tapes directly, and it's like a back and forth, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah.
So I automatically was more drawn to Clay because I was going through, I was reading the book through his perspective, so obviously I would relate to him more.
Yeah.
Dude, so cool. Tommy?
I read the book at some point during the audition process. But I had cousins who were obsessed with it, and I kind of knew that. Like, one of my little cousins was, she feels like it saved her life.
Wow.
Yeah, really powerful. And so I talked to her about it, and I read it, I think, before maybe like my third audition. Because I originally went in for Clay. I think like all of us went in for Clay or Hannah.
Yeah, we all,
Really?
I think like the minute I walked in, they were like, no.
they're like,
They're like, no. But then when I went in for Ryan, I was like, okay, I should probably read this book.
Yeah.
And I loved the book so much. I mean, even like being out of high school by the time I read it, I still like it still resonated with me. Just the bullying aspect of high school and how like rough that was. And yeah, I mean, I love this book.
That's so cool. Sis?
In the same way, yeah. I read it when I was like a freshman in high school. And I remember that it didn't have the social media aspect in it as much, so I was really curious when they started to bring it to series if they were going to add that in. And then when the audition came and I saw it was like directly in my first scene, I was like, yes, they're going to add that element that is so important now for high school kids to understand. So,
Yep. She's actually the one who made me read the book too.
Yeah. I've told everybody, like immediately, I was like, you got to read it.
She did. Lovely.
It's important.
Not all of them have read the book.
No, I
You
haven't.
guys haven't read it at
No,
all?
I haven't.
I'm reading along while I'm watching, and I'm not binge watching.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, we're not
cool.
binge watching. It's so hard.
No, it's
not
so
to
hard.
watch all the episodes.
I've had to like say you can't do it. You have to like have some like you have to have some strength. You can't watch it.
It's so hard.
Wait, do you watch it? So you watch it weekly or
Yeah.
once a week?
For like
So we're
each
watching
review.
it as each week comes up for each new
Got
show.
it, got
Because every
it.
Friday we do 2 episodes. So at the moment
Okay.
we're only at episode 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
So go us.
There's
We're
so much
strong.
No, I had to like I got to the end of 3 and I was just like, don't go to 4. You cannot go to 4.
Okay, but how do you guys not spoil it
I
for
know.
Like, because you guys
Yeah.
have to go on social media for your work, right?
It's actually not
Actually,
that hard.
yeah.
I tweet about what I have to tweet about, and then I'll get off Twitter. Like I'm not as on my social media as
You
I
can
like
hide
should
stuff
be.
too.
Yeah.
Like you can
can
hide
mute
certain
people.
hashtags and like so that you don't
I
see
didn't
them
know
as you
that.
go through. I
Yeah.
know. So
What?
that
Yeah,
they
I
added
don't-
this new feature so that like things don't get spoiled for you. I think probably because of like Game of Thrones
Yes.
because everyone
Oh,
like,
yeah,
Game of
that's
Thrones got
definitely
ruined for
Game of
everyone
Thrones.
all day long. Yeah.
Can I just ask a question? Because you guys both mentioned, you all mentioned now the audition process. So who did you actually go in for initially? And then how many auditions did you have? Talk us through that. Because I'm always interested in that as
Yeah.
an actress as well.
Yeah, it was always too. I was like, whenever my favorite actors would be like being interviewed, I'm like, what was your
Yeah,
audition process?
tell it
'Cause
all.
that's, like, the most fun part of being an actor. I went in. I think everyone went in for Hannah and Clay. So just so like they could see who could fit in, because there's so
Okay.
many different characters, obviously. So whose personality could, fit that certain one. So I went in for Hannah. Then they asked me to take for Jessica, and then I went in to read with Tom and Brian Yorkie, the showrunner, and the casting director, obviously, for Jessica. And then Tom was like, hey, do you want to come in again and like read for Hannah? So I read it for Hannah, and they were like, no. And then they got me for Jessica. So they were like, yeah, it was very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you, Tommy?
Yeah, no, I went in for Clay, like I said before, and then I think like a month later they brought me in for Ryan, and then I went in for Ryan again with Brian and Tom and Diana, and then they started shooting, and like my character was originally written in the pilot, and so I was like, all right, I guess like I didn't get it, even though like they didn't let me know, and so I totally forgot about it, and then I got a call, like, I mean, what felt really random to me to go in and fly. Actually, I had to fly to LA and do a chemistry read with Christian Navarro, who plays Tony.
Wow.
Which, when you continue watching the show, you'll see why we had to do that. And not to
Ooh.
spoil anything.
What just
Anyway,
happened?
and so then I had to do a chemistry read, and they literally flew me in for 2 hours because I live in New York, and then I flew right back to New York, and then like 3 weeks later I was in San Rafael shooting because I come in episode 3.
I didn't even get to meet you till the dance.
Yeah.
And we didn't even meet each other until probably for like a month.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I was so hurt.
Because I shot like 3 and 4, and then I shot stuff for 6, and then I went back and shot
I
stuff
could
for
have
5.
known you those like that extra.
I know
4
it's
weeks.
I know, and I was like so nervous to meet.
And then you're like,
I'm a fucking diva.
It's true, honestly.
Literally demanding my lemon water. Alicia.
Sis.
I had one audition for Sadie.
Really?
And I got Sadie.
That's
My
amazing.
process was like very chill. Like it was, and when I got to set 2, they were like, "Sky, you're Sky," and I was like,
Oh.
"No, I'm Sadie. It's, I don't know if I'm in the right spot." Like, it was one of those things where
Makeup
I'm
for
like,
15 hours, getting like all those tattoos and piercings.
Oh my gosh.
That would have
Like,
been
wow, I didn't know
That would've
Sadie
been
had
fun.
sleeves.
I know.
are any of those tattoos hers?
Sosie's?
Yeah.
She has one tattoo here.
And that's literally
And
it.
that's it. Everything else, I know, because Sosie and I have known each other for 10 years. Like, we went to camp
Oh,
together.
wow.
Wow.
And
Wow, that's
yeah,
amazing.
super weird in high school. And then we both got our offers on the same day and both like ended up in San Rafael, which is where we shot on the same day.
So pretty.
And we went in for like our first fittings together, and she was like, I think I have to go do like a hair and makeup thing. And she came out, I was like, oh my god. Like, if you know what Sosie looks like none of the piercings, none of that's real.
Is Sky introduced yet in the third episode?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just introduced. Which we can go ahead and do, you guys. Let's do a list really quick of everybody that was introduced so we can like...
Okay, good, for all of us.
Kind of.
This is interesting for me though, because I don't want to spoil anything for you guys. But
I
I've been
know.
able to talk about it fully because everyone's like,
Watched it.
they're like, oh, you can just say anything. There's no spoilers. But I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, it's okay because we'll like try to break down the episodes as much as possible,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
it's a lot to fit into a short amount of time, so
Yeah.
you'll know what you can like say and can't say. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so the people that we were introduced that we did not know before, we met Sherry.
Yes.
We met Alex. This was actually the beginning of Alex for
Yes.
episode 2.
Love Alex.
We met we got Mr.
You were
Porter in episode
introduced.
1.
Yeah.
You were
Yes,
you
she
were
was,
Yeah.
she was introduced.
Uh-uh.
She wasn't in one at all.
Yeah.
Whoa! Oh yeah, because you busted into the classroom like a freight train, man.
Yeah.
You came in there like a hot
I
mess.
know.
It was lovely.
Thank
She
you.
did. Came in. Woo.
Oh my god.
My favorite line of yours there is when you ask Clay, "What are you listening to?" I'm like,
Oh,
Well,
this
that's
is gonna
that.
get fun, right?
Tension.
Yeah.
It was great. We also met Jeff. We met Sky. We met Tyler. We met Bryce. We met Ryan,
Troy
Troy,
and Montgomery
and Sadie, and Courtney, and Marcus,
and Montgomery.
Whoa.
and Montgomery.
Montgomery.
Yeah.
Monty.
Montgomery.
Hottie Monty.
We met
Seriously,
everybody.
characters.
Yeah.
Oh,
Insane. There's
it's
no
so
way we're going to
crazy.
talk about them all. There's
No.
no way.
No.
But
No
quick
way.
thing, somebody in the chat would like to say, Swifty Moon said you're very beautiful. So I
She
have to get that
is.
out.
She is so
She's
beautiful.
Thank
She's so
you.
beautiful.
I just did my makeup in the bathroom.
Is that
You
what
were
you're
gorgeous
doing?
before,
Yeah,
so I mean,
that's
come
what
on.
I didn't die in there. I wasn't like, could you imagine if I was just like talking to the mirror, I'm like, you're gonna do great. You're just yelling, I'm like, ah!
I wake up to that every morning. Alisha just whispering to herself in the bathroom.
And I'm just standing against
You're
the
gonna
wall.
kill
going,
it.
You so good today, babe.
You're gonna be amazing.
I think that's like a good affirmation for yourself, like especially like
Yeah.
after watching the show. It's just like you're a good person, you're worth it. You need to
Yeah, you
just
see
like
the
remind
clarify?
yourself.
You are smart.
It's the
You
power
are
You're
of
beautiful.
kind. You're beautiful.
Like,
I think those are good like affirmations for yourself, like especially
It is.
when like especially in this like period of high school and social media being such a big thing. That is a great thing to go into the mirror every day and say you need to know your worth
Yeah.
and start the day knowing your worth.
Yeah, I agree, but I need to clarify that I wasn't yelling at her.
No, she wasn't. She
wasn't.
wasn't.
I was just trying to beat my face.
Well, we have some, like, all three of you beautiful people on the couch.
Yes, y'all, because I can like
Wow.
see you. We can see the live
Oh,
feed
nice.
right here. You all look
Yeah.
delightful.
That was my
Just
posture.
absolutely
Our close
wonderful.
up, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Work on
really
the
great.
posture.
Okay, so with introducing the characters and the main theme of these two, I mean, obviously the first episode 2 was meant to be around Jessica and her being on the tapes, and the second was Alex. But both of their stories have in common this list.
Yeah.
With yours, we do not know exactly what the list is in episode 2. We learn in episode 3. Oh yeah, well I'm also telling you so you know. But we do find out that you slap her because of the list.
Yes.
And can I just say, you got slapped back. No, if it, like your character, like you would have just slapped me and I would have just took it. I'm sorry, I feel like girls,
I
like
am
you get pissed at
saying-
another girl, and that's something you should be pissed at the guy for more than you should be at another girl. She didn't do anything. And
Right.
you guys were best friends,
Yeah.
and it was just like I felt hurt for her, and she just like I was just like I would have slapped you back.
Yeah, definitely. But you have to understand that Jessica's
She-
a sophomore in high school.
True.
And when you are in high school, that's your whole world.
Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
you are an insecure girl, you're not going to blame the guys because the guys have this bro mentality, and if you are not friends with one of them, they will all slut shame you.
Wolfpack.
Yeah, exactly. So the reason why she does attack Hannah is because it's a reflection of her insecurities. She's projecting it on Hannah.
Yeah.
I think deep down she understands that Hannah would never do that to her because they do have this close bond, but she can't really admit that to herself because of her insecurities.
I don't know. I felt for both of you actually in that episode. Cause I'm just like you were going through some of your dad was going sent back to wherever in the third world country he was going,
Right.
and you like we found out in the third episode that you wouldn't sleep with Alex, and that kind of was what blew up the relationship too at the same. Which I think
Jessica's a sexualized character. Everyone's like, She's hot and she's a nice girl, so she feels like she has to upkeep this reputation she's created. So she's just trying to be the nice girl, the cool girl, and she's thinking more about what everyone else thinks about her, who are her acquaintances, more so than her best friend who actually cares about her, which is unfortunate, but which happens in high school because you're not thinking about those lifelong relationships that could happen or other people's feelings that much. You're thinking about, how can I get everyone to like me? Or that's what Jessica was thinking.
Right. And the drama of the moment. Like, every little thing in high school is so magnified.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you go to school, you go home, you check your Twitter, you check your Instagram.
The stakes are high.
Yeah, it's your whole life.
It's a lot of overthinking in high school.
Yeah.
So much.
I feel like you see Jessica overthinking at the pep rally scene especially.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was like,
Oh,
where's
yeah.
Justin? Where's Justin? Like, she couldn't even focus on her cheers because she's like, it's going to be so embarrassing for me in front of the whole damn school if he doesn't show up. I'm going to do this round off and he's not going to be there. And then on top of that, obviously the tapes and this whole stress factor. She doesn't know what he told Mr. Porter, and all of that. That's more just like stressed out about finding out if Mr. Porter knows about the tapes, because something you'll figure out later.
I was like, girl.
I actually will say this, like, I actually enjoyed your and Justin's relationship, like, at the Wallaplex or Valplex outside. I thought that was so super sweet. And, like, you actually seem like you guys both care about each other even through this very difficult time that everybody's going through.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I actually said all, because I was just like, you guys are adorable.
Yeah, Justin and Jessica have a very complicated relationship, which you will kind of discover throughout the season, but there is like this underlying love between them and understanding. They truly do understand each other. They kind of I don't want to but there is care. There is deep care.
Do we ever learn in this year, which granted I've watched the entire thing, I did binge it, but
you did?
I did.
She's only
I'm actually thinking about it and I'm like, I don't know if I know the answer to this, because originally, as far as Hannah goes, you were dating Alex.
Right.
So, though before she passes, you started dating Justin. But do we ever learn during the series what brought you and Justin together?
Yeah.
We do?
The dance.
Oh.
Yeah. I had to think about it too. I'm like, yeah.
All right. I'm like, I can't remember, but I also watched them like all over the place because everybody in our house was watching it at different times. Oh my god, we were. So
we just jump in. Like,
go around and we'd be like, okay, I think this is maybe 6. I think this is when this person. I'll just watch it, then I'll go back and piece it together. Like, it was craziness. So I'm still piecing it together. Okay, cool. I wanted to check on that.
Yeah.
Which is another thing that we learned during this episode. We learn about Jessica and Alex's relationship. I do have a question about that. Why is it that you think that Alex and Jessica didn't want Hannah to know or be a part of that relationship?
Because we were the three. Yeah, I mean that's happened to me like several times throughout. Basically, it's just like we were 3 best friends. Yeah. Obviously, and then we kind of all split apart. We kind of drifted away. Alex found new friends. I didn't like hang out with Hannah as much, but not as religiously, I guess. And then me and Alex started to hang out, and then obviously it's just awkward for Hannah, because the reason why our relationship started is because I was like, ooh, he's checking you out. No, he's checking you out.
So there was a jealousy.
Yeah, and then it's just awkward to tell your friend, like, listen, I know that you thought he was cute. True. But so it's just that awkward thing that you can't really talk about when you're 15 or 16. How old are we? I don't know. But
16 in the
16.
flashbacks.
Yeah. Okay, when we were 16. So that's why we didn't want to tell her, and it's not the smartest way to go about things, but it's awkward.
I like that you guys kind of fell apart at Monet's too. Like, that's where it started, and then that's where it fell apart.
Yeah, it's true.
And so watching that was like really powerful to see, because that place was painted as such a positive, like that was your safe space.
Exactly.
And then it's so quickly ruined, and you're just like, as an audience member, devastated a little bit, because I loved your guys' friendship.
Yeah,
because you were just like not supposed to be friends. I would never pair you guys together, even from the book. I wouldn't have paired you two.
It's
really?
Yeah.
Really?
Interesting.
I wouldn't have.
I actually liked their whole repertoire, like her and Hannah had. Like, it was just
that scene where they're in the counselor's office.
That was like the best scene.
I love that
like, it was like
scene.
an instant, like,
So
we get each
funny.
other, and we're just gonna, hey Hazel, hey Jezebel.
And I read it in the book before I watched the episode, because I'm reading the book before I watch the episodes, like the chapters that I'm about to watch.
Yeah.
And
so cool.
I laughed a lot more on screen. But I laughed while I was reading it. Also, it's interesting because I feel like the chapters were switched in the show.
Yeah. The tape order is switched around.
Yeah.
It worked better, I think.
And Sherry is Jenny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jenny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that like really messed me up. To clarify things for myself.
Yeah.
Cool. Lovely. What's everybody think about Cherry? Let's talk about the new people that we met.
I think all these new characters talking to Clay, I think they're all suspects. Because he seems like he seems so like you're talking to me, but you don't talk to me.
Yeah, and she touches his arm, and he's like, what are you doing?
That's such a hot girl thing. Like when you really want to get the guy's attention, especially when like they're like nerdy-ish, and you just like you look at them. Yeah. And you just gaze into their eyes, and he just doesn't know how to act, and it's just like so funny.
Well, they definitely have ulterior motives. I mean,
right.
Clay is like.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think all of these like introduction scenes, like even with like Courtney in the beginning of episode 1, are so well written, and that, like they're just very like mundane conversations, but like you can tell that there's like something else going on, and like whether it's because that person has already listened to the tapes and they're on the tapes, and like, there's always this like trying to figure out like, do you know what I know?
Right?
Do you know what I've done?
Yeah.
Like,
And I feel like the way that they're all introduced has a little bit of clue into what way they're involved. Like, which obviously I can't say because I know, but
I mean, once you get to the end, I think you're like, oh my god, how did I not pick up on that before?
Yes.
Like, it's a show you want to rewatch and be like, wait, I could have known that from like the
Absolutely.
first second, but you're like, I know there's something weird, but let's like move on because I'm more interested in like Alex's tape right now.
I just want to figure out Tony because I feel like he's like that person in the mask
Is
who's
he
like
real?
following
Is he
everyone.
not?
It cracks me up the way that they're depicting him in the show. Like, I love it so much, but it's so different than the book.
It is.
Someone was telling me that their theory is that like he's not even a real person. That he's like fairy godfather for Clay. That he's just like this kind of like weird like ghost. Like no.
That's the best theory though. Like not even that's the best
I
theory.
was like, all right.
Well, I'm still going up and down with Tony because when we did our show last week, I was like, Tony's creepy. He just arrived in the park out of nowhere. He knows things, and kind of felt like he's to represent Hannah while she's not there. But then in the episode when Zach and Marcus come and offer Clay a ride, all of a sudden Tony arrives and he's like, "Are you okay, Clay?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, maybe he's a good guy."
Guardian angel.
Right?
Yeah, the guardian angel. But now at the end of episode 3, we see him beating up people. Clay follows him. I'm like, no, Tony, now I don't know where you are. I don't know if you're good or you're bad.
That was the end of the 3rd episode.
Yeah, where he's beating some guys up.
My cousin described him as the older guy from high school who already graduated, but won't leave, but like creeps around all the kids.
Never quite passed.
I didn't realize that he was actually still in high school. I only realized that when he was playing volleyball.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow, he's really old to be in school right now.
We did see him in the locker room with all the boys with their pants down. We did see
that.
that.
And all the tats. I'm just like, what is like all the like guys we get introduced to have tats all around us?
Well, in my high school, a lot of people were tatted up, and it
me
makes
too.
sense it makes sense for Tony, especially because you see where he lives apart. Like he lives on the other side of town. He has like a rough upbringing, and I think that's like more so in the culture. And then just in high school culture nowadays, tattoos are way more normalized, so people get it. Like older brothers are tattoo artists, so it's like you just kind of get them starting at 14.
I got my first tattoo when I was 15.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
And Justin's tattoos make sense too when you start to learn more about his character's history and like what's going on there. I think, and like actually Brandon and I were talking about this, like why we got tattoos in high school was like kind of a rebellious thing.
Yeah, right.
And I think you find with like both of those characters and the other characters in the show who maybe have them, like Sky, like it's kind of this like way to rebel from maybe like what is norm.
And express yourself, because in school you kind of feel confined and restricted.
Yeah.
It's a way to just be yourself.
Totally.
What I found interesting was the teacher, like as she's teaching about social learning theory, and like, I love how everything she teaches like is like about what we're going to.
Yeah.
Pure communication.
So you can easily check out of what she's saying, but if you pay attention to it, then
it's genius. I even like reading the script, it was more apparent, but like when I was watching the show, because her voice kind of fades out when the scene.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, the writing is just, it blows me away. And I'm not saying that because I'm on the show. I know I'm not.
It's very real. It's
Okay,
so good.
because I know we're getting like close on. I know it's so much talking about it now,
We
but I
nearly
really
done.
want to get to. No, we still have some time, but I really want to talk about you two.
Yeah.
So we can talk about their characters. What was everybody's opinion on these two over here and their introductions?
I thought Sadie was so adorable, and I just felt I was wanting to hit Alex. I'm just like, dude, she's trying to help you. Like, why are you being mean? I understand you're going through something, but she's actually in your corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's kind of like
she's a good girl.
Yeah, she was, and she's kind of like one of those girls where you're like, oh, you know, I should have listened to her. Like, she was always the one. Like, I should have just been like, you're right, blow it off. Like, she would have, but he kind of just always pushes me away. And there was one scene too that they ended up showing too, where he does like see her at the concert, so he does show up for the band concert, but instead he just ends up going and getting drunk, so he picks that over her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of
lame.
Oh, I forgot about that. That wasn't in the. Oh.
No, and he sees me from the balcony, and like I kind of am like, you really blew it. Like,
it was after that he was like wasted, right?
Yeah. He's already waiting. He shows up wasted, and I see him, and I'm like, you should have done this. Like, this is your passion. This would have saved you. Like, your extracurriculars kind of shaped you as a person. Being in band, being in dance, being in like the news, being a journalist, like those things save you.
Yeah.
As a person in high school, because you have something creative to run to.
Dim
So the fact that
extracurriculars.
he just got rid of that was like a very truth teller for his character. That he's lost everything. Then he doesn't really care about anything else.
I don't know if it was the saxophone thing because I used to play saxophone when I was in band.
Yeah,
or not,
I used to
but
play the clarinet. And
Me
so
too.
that was I was like, and they kept trying to make me play on set too with the reeds because we did it so many times. So my reeds kept getting all like messed up.
Oh,
I had a
so
splinter in
annoying.
my lip on that first scene too the entire time. And Miles kept being like, "It's like really sticking out." No.
I'm surprised that never happened to me in band, but yeah, no, I think I related to Sadie right off the bat because of that. I don't know. And kind of she is the nice girl.
Yeah.
So
she's like the good girl.
She is a very good girl.
All right, and what about Tommy over here?
Well, Tommy, when I first saw the character, I was a bit skeptical. I was like, he's a typical journalist. Like, he doesn't really have many, I don't feel like many feelings were in Hannah's suicide. He kind of just asks Chae, do you have anything to add? So I'm interested to see, because I've already watched up into episode 3, interested to see how your character plays a role in the story.
Yeah, we got a very small bit of
It's
you
a
in this
very
one.
Well, and you've watched it all,
I
so.
know.
It's very
I can't
small, so we
comment.
haven't seen much of your character.
It's actually it. I don't actually come back.
That's a lie because I've seen like that article of you online.
That's a lie.
Yeah,
that's wrong.
Well, for me, when you first were introduced, I was just like, I don't know. I like his swag. Like, I like his he has this like I'm better than you air a little bit. So when he and then like, but for me like it was the way you said it. Like you told Clay, do you have anything to add? Like you weren't just talking about like the memorial. You wanted to know something else.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I love how I'm picking up on little things. It was just like, okay, what did you do, dude? But what I actually like and don't like is like everybody makes Clay think he did something wrong. Yeah. And I'm just like, out of all. Clay's like the most innocent for some reason. I think. I know he's done things that aren't that good, but in the sense of Hannah, he actually did care about her.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think because we're watching the show like through Clay's perspective, that's why it feels like that. Like each character like feels very invasive. But I think for us, like with our first interactions with Clay, like in episode 3, for me, it's like I don't think he's done anything wrong. I just am trying to figure out like. Basically, does he know what I know? Do we know the same things? I laughed so hard when I got that scene because it was like a different version of one of my audition scenes. I just like switched location and kind of like I like obviously switched a little bit about it, but it kind of did the same thing as my original audition scene. And I was like, really, I'm digging through the trash at the beginning of that. I was like, are you serious? It was also my first day ever on a set.
What?
For anything. Yeah, it was my first job, so I was like,
nice.
I was like having a panic attack.
That's incredible.
But it was so that scene was really hard to shoot too because it was like kind of 3 scenes into one where it's like Alex tearing down the posters and then Clay starts talking to Alex and then Tyler walks down the stairs and then Mr. Porter comes and then I come out of the bathroom and we shot it all as one like long thing and they cut it together and I was like and I'm hiding like in a bathroom like wait I'm like where's my cue and I was like what is a cue and like what is going on
So has acting been something that you've always wanted to do, or did you
no
kind
I
of
just
fall
woke up
into
one
it?
day and went to this audition and it was like that was it.
Wow, that happens.
No, I know. I went to college for acting in New York, and so I did that, and I graduated from college, and a year later, I am on this show.
That's incredible.
Which is crazy. And that's like but I've always loved acting, and that's always it's like the only thing I've wanted to do.
It's also incredible because Bradley in the chat said it's the best Netflix original in his opinion. So,
and it's the first thing that you're a part of. That's
I know.
awesome, man.
It's like it's really I'm super super grateful. I'm actually like still processing.
I believe that.
I mean, the show is crazy. I see everyone on social media tweeting about it.
Okay, there's one other topic, there's one other topic I want to discuss before we go into questions that fans have sent in for you all. I noticed in these past couple of episodes, because we are getting to see more from the characters on the tapes in the show versus the book, like we're getting more of their backstory, their home life, and everything. And I think it's very interesting that they're addressing on the show a glimpse into potential depression issues between all of these characters. We saw with Clay that he may have been prescribed previously antidepressants and they're wanting him to potentially be back on them. I'm intrigued to see if or how exactly they tackle that and if that gets reintroduced into later episodes. We also see Alex falling into the pool at the end. Alex also is the only character thus far that I think is very forthcoming about what has happened. And wants to admit everything, but that is like tearing him apart at the same time because nobody's on the same page as him.
I was like, I thought he was gonna like, I was just
I
like,
thought he was gonna do.
I couldn't I had to pause because I'm just like, please don't do what I think you're about to do, dude. Like, I need you to live real quick. Like, I need it.
And then we also have Justin, who we're learning has this potentially crazy, awful home life at home. So we're getting to see that backstory and what he already carries around on his own. And then we also have Jessica, who's clearly going through a lot. She's like walking around the school pretty obvious about like, I'm not doing so hot. You know what I mean? So I just think that's interesting. What is your all's take on them bringing in those backstories to these characters and us seeing those sides of this story and this idea of Hannah sending these tapes and letting them know about what made her commit suicide?
I think that's what made it, because they optioned it as a movie first, Serena and Mandy, and then they kind of realized that we want to be able to just tell the story right, and in order to do so, we're not going to be able to condense that into an hour and a half.
Yeah, no way.
And I thought, and what I found so interesting about the show is that because it is 13 hours, we do have the opportunity to create backstories for these characters and understand their motivations.
Right.
Which is why I was so drawn to like the first 2 episodes, or when I read the first 2 scripts, it was just like, it makes sense because a girl died at the end.
Right.
And it's not because the other kids are pure evil.
Right.
And we have to understand as people collectively what our little things can do to another person, the whole domino effect. That's the whole message of the show. But kids do that because they don't know how to deal with your emotions. They don't know how to properly like talk to people and stuff like that. So with doing that, it just becomes more
I think it's not. You know what I think? No. I think it's like
I'm crying.
Depression and anxiety and feeling alone and feeling left out isn't like an isolated experience, and I think that's what our show is trying to explore. Sort of this like real, true teenage high school experience. I mean, for us, it's in America, but I think it really is worldwide, and that's why Netflix is a perfect platform for this because it gets seen in like almost 200 countries, which is incredible. And so you see these signs, and because everyone's so focused on Hannah, maybe you start to miss, like, as a high school, we miss signs in other people that they might also be going through the same thing. And not to spoil anything, but I think you see as the series goes on, like, for each character in a little bit, and like some more than others, how not just because of Hannah, but like just their experiences in high school affect them, and how like they also can show, and how the signs for depression and anxiety and suicide can be really hard to miss, even when someone has just done it.
Absolutely.
That's why I think episode 3 too is so important too, because it opens with the whole butterfly effect speech, and that really brings the whole series in. I think that you get to this episode and you're like, okay, I'm starting to see what it's all about.
Absolutely.
And I really like that because it's not just one story. Hannah's multiple stories. She's so rich in she's a part of every character. So I keep asking everybody, who's your favorite character? Who do you relate to the most from high school? And no one really has one character. They're like, I was like Jessica myself, like me. I was like you, my junior and senior year. But yet I was a little more like Alex, my freshman and sophomore year, because I was new and I was always against everybody, but still wanted to be cool and fit in. So that's kind of great that each character is super relatable because you don't have one that you're like, even people who hate Courtney, you know what I mean? You still can relate to her.
Totally.
Absolutely.
If you were a, ASB president, or if you were in leadership.
Or if you're in the closet.
Like there's...
Oh my god.
Oh no! Spoilers.
I'm just gonna assume everyone watching this has binge watched.
Yeah, we're gonna assume.
I mean, personally, I already guessed at it, so I'm good. We're good.
So sorry, guys, but it's true because that's a really. It's a really
It was lovely.
It's
It's
an
okay.
important thing. Always throwing shade at her.
And then, like, I know.
I love Courtney, to be honest.
I do too. I relate a lot to her.
Yes, I do too. So saying there's a lot that I relate to her too.
Okay, this was lovely. You know what? I'm gonna help you. We're gonna jump from this conversation. We're gonna go into questions, okay?
Okay.
Because we have a ton.
And we have people in the chat sending questions as well.
And we are going to try to answer them as quickly as possible.
Ooh, rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
Another round. Does you want to listen?
Oh,
Even though, unfortunately, the questions that they asked are not quickly to be answered, but we're going to try really quick. What? Did I miss something?
No, go ahead. Continue.
No,
Go ahead. We're good.
Great. Okay, the first question is from Soph13RY. Are there any bloopers from the show?
No.
I bet.
We messed up a lot.
Yeah,
Are there
a lot.
any specific funy moments you remember on set?
I thought you meant is there a blooper reel?
Got it.
Probably, but we'll try that way.
Definitely. No, I never messed up. I'm perfect. No. I can't remember.
The other people in the band, that was a real band. That was a real high school band that they
Yes.
hired.
Yeah. That
and
was
I
real.
thought that was so cool because they all were like in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was playing, like I was never in the band. So I was like really living in that moment. Like I'm in the band. And the girl next to me was like actually like helping me out. Like she was
that's so
real
nice.
serious about it. Alex and I were asking her for tips and yeah, it was
That's
a real high school
wow.
band that they hired, and they were so excited to be there. It was insane.
Awesome.
It made the whole experience that much better because they were like
That's so
just
cool.
amazing. So I thought that was cute.
My fiance was visiting me on set when I was shooting my episode, and Brian put him in the show. So when you get to episode 8, which is Ryan's tape, more spoilers, he is in it. And if you go to my Instagram, you can probably find a picture of him, and you can play a game where you try and find him.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's so
Oh,
cool.
Yeah. I mean, hilarious.
We just need to get your dog on the show.
I know.
Now I'm like, is that your ring over there?
That's my ring.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah, I
it.
got married while we were shooting the season. It was
November 12th.
All right.
I'm his #1 fan. I'm in love with him.
All right, we're going to do
Their
next
chemistry's
because
so cute.
now we're getting into your big fan club over here. Alisha Boe Brazil would like to know which actor was the easiest to work with and who was the most difficult to work with.
oh.
No what?
I was gonna say just say a favorite
say each
scene.
other's
Just maybe say a favorite scene or something like favorite experience with one of the actors.
Well, I have to say 2 of the actors. My first day was with Miles and Catherine, Hannah and Alex doing the Monet scene, the FML scene. Or when we go
I love that.
It was just such a good introduction to the show. I had no idea I was gonna get this sad, but it was just it was a really great first day.
That's an awesome
Yeah.
first day.
Yeah.
Anybody else like a little moment with a certain other actor
I
exciting?
think Miles too. He's like just so brilliant.
Oh, he's amazing.
Yeah.
And he stays so in it the whole time that you're just like,
And he's funny as hell.
yeah,
He's
he's
so
so
funny.
funny. He really is. So that was my
love
first scene
Miles.
was with him, and I just was like, whoa, all right.
Derek Luke.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
Mr.
Derek
Porter?
Blue.
Yeah,
I never
yeah.
got to work with him. He's
I
brilliant.
have a scene with him later in the season,
Never
and
know.
that was just like, I mean,
Everybody knows him
as
as
someone
Porter.
as this was my first job, and he's been working for so long, and I have so
Yeah.
much respect for him as an actor. Like, I like kept having to pinch myself.
Did you
if
ever
that was
get to
happening.
believe that.
BDJ?
What?
Did you ever get to work with BDJ?
No, but we
Brian
met.
Darcy James.
I know I met him too, and I didn't get
Well,
I
we
worked with
met,
Kate.
I didn't get to work with Brian Darcy James.
or
No.
Kate Walsh.
Season 2.
Okay,
Kate
also,
Walsh.
just
Oh
real
my
quick,
gosh.
Kate Walsh is
She's
not
clean.
in this entire season.
Right? It was
and
like, oh my god, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I was
Oh
like,
my
that's
gosh.
commitment. You better go.
it deserves credit.
You were mentioning the bathroom scene earlier.
Oh
and
yeah, we were talking about that.
killed me,
Where
and
all
that's
the writing on the
emotional.
walls
Yeah.
and everything, and how
Oh.
that's very real life. Like
It is.
that episode opened. Or when I read it first, I was like, oh my gosh, you're right. That was in. I can't remember a bathroom that I've ever walked into at
Oh, yeah.
high school, public, private, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Middle school to high school. I hope not elementary school. I've never seen one there, but. That you
I
don't
think they
see.
can write yet.
Yeah, I don't think they can write on, or they probably can't. I don't know how to write yet. Yeah. But you never know. That's just so scary. It's so real life.
Okay, next question for you all. What is your favorite show right now?
Big Little Lies.
Oh, yes.
I don't know.
Drag
I'm really into.
Can I spoil that too?
No, unless they haven't. I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, you probably can because everybody probably has seen it. If
I'm
not,
not going to because she.
Oh, you haven't?
It's so good. I'm really into Billions right now. Anybody's not watching Billions?
Asia Kate Dillon.
Oh my gosh. And Maggie said,
They're amazing.
and Paul Giamatti.
You haven't even talked to me about this. Okay,
I know.
well, we'll talk
It's
about
on
it later.
second season. Join it.
I have one specifically for Alisha Boe. How was it interpreting a bad bitch?
Oh, she is a bad bitch.
Jessica is a bad bitch.
Yep.
Hell yeah, she is a bad bitch.
Yeah, she is.
You know, it's easy because I'm a bad bitch. No, that feels fucking awesome. Sorry, that feels awesome. Thank you, whoever said that.
Oh, it was Alisha Boe, Brazil.
Oh,
they love you, man.
Alisha Boe, Brazil. I love Brazil. I want to go to Brazil.
All right, next one we have is how important do you think the series is to be in schools all over the world?
Everywhere.
Yeah, I mean.
How important is it?
Yeah.
It's. I wish.
Insanely important.
Yeah, insanely.
Required
I'm
viewing.
like, I'll answer.
Required viewing.
I think
No,
we should
seriously.
require that.
Instead of
curriculum,
watching like
it
the
should be in the
silly
curriculum.
movies that we watch, like they make fun of that.
Yeah, I actually read a comment from someone saying that I think maybe in Brazil that their teacher is going to have her students watch the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is.
So I think that would be really cool for high school students.
Yeah.
Or like having assembly time.
The amount
Just
of
watch 2
like.
episodes
Well,
at a
Jay
time.
Asher does go. Jay Asher, the author of the book, does do assemblies and talks to students.
Oh my
all the
gosh.
time.
So good.
He's been doing it
Nationwide, yeah.
forever.
That is
Yeah.
wonderful.
He just did one in Larkspur.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That is really
He's been doing
incredible.
that for years since the book came out. So.
I feel like he has something like that on his in his bio on his website where he's like, I do touring stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know
he
he
talks
definitely
to a
does.
lot of people.
It just opens up a dialogue that
It
wasn't
does.
open before.
It's
not
true.
that easy to talk about these issues. They're really hard to talk about.
And I think it's teenagers watching what teenagers do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's really
very
difficult.
true.
And I think it's
Yeah.
really important for parents and kids to watch this together to show like
or separately,
but just to, but it opens up an opportunity for dialogue that maybe wouldn't have been there before if parents are willing to.
Absolutely. On that note, you guys, I hate to cut this short, but I just realized they're giving me a countdown, so we have to end this right now. Yeah, we're at 0 time. So real quick before we head out, everybody, last introductions or I guess exits, and where can everybody find you on social media? Becca?
Y'all can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Becca B Talks TV.
Hey guys, I'm Chae Jones. You can find me at Real Chae Jones on Twitter and Instagram.
And I'm Chanel Hurlin. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Chanel Hurlin.
Y'all?
Hi, I'm Alisha Boe, and you can find me at Alisha Boe on Twitter and Instagram.
I'm Tommy Dorfman, and you can find me at Tommy.Dorfman on Instagram and just at Tommy Dorfman on the Twitter.
Lovely.
Alisha Mullally. You can find me as Alisha_Mullally on Twitter and Alisha Mullally on Instagram.
Lovely, and I am Hannah Prichard. You all, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at the Hotshot Dude. We are having them sign the book, so keep rating and commenting. We'll put you in the raffle, and
We
you
see all the ratings.
could potentially win. We'll see you all next week. Thank you so much.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Bye.
See you later. Nailed it.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.